Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing an in-depth review of Brother. Brother has been my favorite book this year. I absolutely love this book and I cannot wait to share it with you. We will be doing a spoiler and a non-spoiler section, and we're going to start with the non-spoiler section. That way those that don't want to be spoiled can listen to that first part and then dip out. So, Brother, we're following this young dude, he's about 20, named Michael. And he has been adopted into this family called the Moros. He came to live with them when he was like 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old. They have mom and dad, and then they have Misty Dawn, who is a sister. And then we have Reb, who is also named Rebel or Ray, whichever. So if I use Ray, Rebel, or Reb, it's the same dude, okay? And he's an older brother to Michael. And this family is full of abuse. I mean, abuse. They hit each other all the time over nothing. The parents hit the kids all the time. Reb is super abusive and manipulative to everybody around him. And it started when they were really, really young. And it's not just physical abuse that's happening. We've got all kinds of other abuse happening. There's a lot of trauma in this family because Reb and Michael, their job is to find girls on the street who no one's going to miss. They pick them up, bring them home, and they kill them. And then the family eats them. Like, they are cannibals. This is how they have lived. This is how they survive. And it is a brutal story of revenge and neglect and abuse and generational trauma and the effects that that has on a family and the effects that fear can have on people and like what that could push you to do. And I think that that's a big part of why I love this story so much. Let me tell you, nothing happens in this book. There is very few plot points in this book. Like, very, very few. So if you're needing something fast paced, this isn't it. The ending is a little bit more fast paced, but I'm talking like it's like a 300-page book, and I think the last 30 pages are faster paced. So this is very much a character exploration of trauma and this family dynamics and all the things that they have been through. So if you need something faster paced, do not pick this up because you will not enjoy it. You probably won't get to the ending, and the ending is fantastic. I absolutely love the ending. The ending was everything that it should have been. I think that that ending was absolutely perfect for this type of story. The writing style isn't super flowery. It's very direct and very easy to read. It's a quick, easy read. There's not like 1,000 descriptions that are 100 pages long that you have to like slog through or anything. It's very easy to read. There's not a whole lot of things that are really confusing. We're only following two perspectives. We follow Michael's perspective in the current day, and we follow his brother Reb. We follow his perspective from when they were children. And I think that it works perfectly. Like, we get Michael's perspective now in the situations that him and his family are in. But Reb's perspective is super necessary in this book from when he was a child because we understand how Michael came to live with the family. We understand more of the abuse that they suffered and how these children were basically brainwashed into all of this trauma and how everything kind of happened. This family is all about family. And I don't mean like we love family and family is everything and all that kind of stuff and like everyone prioritizes, the family. It's much more sinister than that. Like, they will do whatever it takes to protect the family, but if you're lying to the family, then you get to go be left in the woods. Like, there is no love in this family. There is no mercy. There is no grace at all in this family. Like, if you're sinning against the family, then you're out. Like, no patience at all. And you see it from the jump. And it's not just the parents. Reb is a big part of that. He is so angry and lost, and he is a big instigator in a lot of things that happen in this story. I also loved how everything was unraveled in the story. It was done super slowly, and it was done like piece by piece so that you were kept in the dark for as long as possible, but you were in the know probably a little bit faster than Michael is in the know with everything that's happening and this big scheme that happens. And it was done so well. Like, I can't even describe how good this unraveling was. I just loved how everything played out. I love the big reveals and the secrets and the motivations. I love motivations. I love knowing characters' motivations, and I don't know if that's just like the therapist in me or if that's rooted to my love of Criminal Minds and all that kind of stuff. But I love the motivations, and you can see the motivations in Reb and what happens and why he does the things that he does, because you get his perspective as a child when he's feeling neglected, he's feeling forgotten, he's feeling lost. And it's so good. Like, it plays out so well. And I honestly don't know how much more I can give without spoilers. I think that's really it, because like, you can't go into this knowing anything. I went into this knowing that they were cannibals. I think that was it. Oh, and he met a girl. Cannibals, and he met a girl. And that's all that I know. Oh, I didn't even give you a definition of this book. Okay. So, can you tell that we don't know what we're doing around here? We'll just kind of go with it. So we're following Michael, right? And he's been adopted into this family and they're cannibals. Well, he ends up meeting a girl, and he wants to be with her, but he doesn't know how to be with her and be with the family. And so he has to sort of grapple with that choice of, do I run away with this girl or do I stay loyal to the family? And if he goes away with the girl and he goes against the family, then that is going against everything that he has been taught his entire life. So that's a really hard choice. But he also wants more. Like, he is terrified of his family, and he's terrified of what they do and what they make him do and all these things. And he's grappling with the morality of the things that he's doing. And he's he's got to make a choice because he can't have both. The only way to have both is to bring her into the family and Chance telling her that he's a cannibal and then her freaking out and leaving. So he's got to make a choice. And so that's what the whole book is him having to decide what he's going to do about this relationship. How does he balance her and the family? How does he dealing with Reb and Reb's manipulation and torture, all these things. And so that's the plot. And as you can tell, there's not a whole lot of plot there. It's all character dynamic, and honestly, the plot you learn about in the big reveal at the end. Like, the big ending tells you everything that you needed to know and like the underlying plot. And it's so good. But anyways, we are going to get into spoilers. Okay, so I debated on what would be better, giving like a timeline of events or giving you like, the character motivations. And I think giving you the timeline will be easier to sort of digest and get through. So, the story, what happens? Current day. We're going to go through current day first, and then we'll talk a little bit about Reb's perspective. So, current day, we have Michael and his brother. They are going and just kind of hanging out. They're going and robbing liquor stores for Reb because he's an alcoholic. And they've got one girl that they've killed that we see early on. They are mostly just kind of hanging out, being brothers. And Reb is like on this thing of like, we're brothers and we're brothers united and our parents are mean and they're just trying to scare us and all these things, right? And Reb takes Michael to this music store where Reb has a girl that he's seeing at the music store. They go in the back and, have fun. And Michael is up front and he's not really interacted with people outside the family. And he meets this girl, Alice. And so he ends up talking to her a little bit. And then him and Reb take a few days and they go back to the music store and talk and hang out, and then they decide to go on dates and stuff. And Reb is got this weird balancing act of encouraging this relationship and being like, dude, she really likes you and don't screw it up. When they're at home, he's also like, man, you're such an idiot. This is why I have to be in charge because you're too stupid to do anything. And I'm the boss and you have to listen to me and all these things. And Michael's like, yeah, you're the boss. I listen to you. And it's weird because he's terrified of his brother, but simultaneously they're best friends because that's all he knows, right? So we meet Alice. Well, Reb and Michael have this mark that they've been scoping out for a little bit, but Michael's like, I don't know that we've scoped it out enough. And Reb's like, no, we have. It's good. Let's go home. And so they go home and they don't really fully do the scoping out that Michael feels like they should do, but he is like, Reb knows what he's doing. It'll be fine, right? Well, throughout this time, they have a little sister. I don't know if she's littler, but she's about the same age as Michael. Her name is Missy Dawn. And she never gets to leave the house. Never gets to leave the house. And she ends up coming on to Michael. And Reb sees him. And so Reb beats the crap out of them. And doesn't tell anybody, but beats the crap out of them, right? Well, then Reb takes Michael out into the woods one night. And he makes him dig a hole. And Michael, in his head, is thinking he's going to die, right? Well, he digs the hole. And Reb makes him like get down on his knees and he dumps all of Michael's belongings into this hole. And it's his entire life now in this hole. And Reb makes him bury it all up and says, if you don't stay away from my sister, if you don't stay in line, then I'm going to leave you out here to die. And that's part of the fear that they put into Michael from the time he was a child, right? So that happened. Well, then we go along a little bit and Michael's starting to really like this girl Alice that he's met, and he's really starting to question his life at home, and he doesn't really want to be there anymore, and he's just like, I want to go be with her and I want to like have a life with her, but I don't even know how to function out in the real world. And we end up with Michael and Misty Dawn at home again. And she sort of comes on to him, but he stops her, sends her away, and is like, no, we can't do that because of Reb. Reb doesn't like it. We can't do that. We gotta, go about our day. Well, Reb ends up finding out about that. And Reb goes and he ends up getting Missy Dawn killed. Like, he tells mom she's a whore, all these things, and she dies. Mom kills her. So Michael is distraught. Michael takes her out and he buries her. Right? Well, we also have that mark that we're been paying attention to, right? Well, Reb and Michael go and they go and like capture her, right? Well, whenever she was like bound up and stuff and like Reb was like on top of her and Michael had just walked in, she said, Michael, please don't. And Michael's like, what? I've never met this woman. I don't know who she is. Why does she know my name? And Reb just like, it's like whatever about it, all flippant. So they end up killing her and all these things. Well, then it is coming up on Michael's birthday, which is the day that they like adopt him into the family. And Reb is all like, I've got some presents for you. And he talks Alice and Lucy, which is the two girls from the music store, into coming to the party, right? Well, Michael was out with Misty Dawn at her gravesite and he was upset. And he finally comes home and he goes inside and Lucy is tied up and Alice is being held hostage by, I think, the dad. And Reb's like, you're going to have to choose. You can kill Lucy or I will kill Alice. You have to choose. And so Michael is now like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Because if I kill Lucy, then Alice gets to live, and I want Alice to live, but Alice won't talk to me anymore. Like, Alice is going to be really mad at me, right? Well, he decides to kill Lucy. And so then they have Alice locked up in the basement, and Reb gives Michael the keys to his car and gives him a map and says, follow the map. So he ends up going to the house where that one lady that they just killed that called him Michael and knew his name, he ends up going to that house. And so he goes inside. And while he's there, he finds out two things. One, that it was his mother, like his biological mother, because he is the little boy in the photos on the mantle and in the hallways and stuff. Two, Alice is his sister. Like, I did not see these coming. Like, these are so big twists. Like, oh my gosh. He had no idea. One, he was making out with his sister, and he touched his mom inappropriately while she was dead, and he ate his mom. You know, like, the trauma. Just those pieces, like the trauma, right? So then he's all mad about it. So he goes home, and his parents are asleep, and he kills them. He kills dad in his sleep, and then he kills his mom, right? Well, then he goes down in the basement to free Alice, and he ends up in a tussle with Ray. And he ends up killing Ray. And while they're all tussling, Ray is so devious, you know? He's just, he's so good, but he's so evil. And they're tussling, and Ray's talking trash and all these things, and he's like, I tricked you into killing your adoptive family and your biological family. And he's like, you abandoned yourself. And now Alice won't ever talk to you again. So now you're going to be alone. And I'm just like, oh, you're scheming. Like, it worked so well. And it took the long game. And we'll get to that in a minute. But the long game in order for him to pull this off. Well, then Michael kills Reb, and he lets Alice free. And Alice is like running down the street, right? Well, Michael is like, let me help you. So he chases her, and he's got a knife in his hand. And so, like, he's chasing her with his knife. And so she's freaked out. And he ends up catching her, and then he drops the knife because he's like, oh, I'm probably terrifying you. Well, then she stabs him. Oh, I missed. While they were tussling, Ray had stabbed Alice. So while she's running, she's been stabbed, right? So she's trying to find help. Well, then she stabs Michael, right? So now they're both stabbed. Well, I guess she did a better job stabbing him because, like, he's laying in the ground, and she's running back to the house to the car because, I mean, now everyone's dead. She has time to get to the car, right? And so she's getting to the car, and Michael is laying there dying, and he's just like, run, fight for your life, get out of here, go on, and all these things. Like, I'm rooting for you. And as he's dying, he realizes that the car keys are in his pocket. And that's where the story ends, is the car keys are in his pocket. And so you're left to assume that they both died. Like, they bled out and never got help. And so everyone dies in the end. And I don't know, I find it to be the perfect ending because what are we doing? Like, his entire family deserved to die, and he died attempting to save this girl who he was falling in love with. But because of the fact that he's like a monster, she killed him. And oh my gosh, it's fantastic. Absolutely loved it. I had no notes on this book. Like, I absolutely loved it. And so let's talk about Reb and his backstory in that second perspective throughout this book so that we can get a better understanding of Reb, because his side of the story, it has so much more insight on the abuse and all of the things that he's been feeling all his life. This entire story is Reb's revenge. Like, that is why he did everything that he did, is for his revenge because of what happened when he was a kid. So, when he was younger, I think he was probably about 7, he had a dog. He went out and he shot the dog for attention or whatever. Well, he ends up being like, I want another puppy, yada, yada, yada. So then he's driving down the road with his dad and he sees Michael at a lemonade stand, just selling lemonades, right? And so they kidnap him. And that's how Michael comes to live with them, is because he was kidnapped. And they told him his entire life that he was adopted. No, he was kidnapped. And so he's grown up his entire life living with his family. And from day one, Reb has been like, I'm the boss. I'm in charge. Nobody wants you. I saved you from your family who abandoned you. Nobody wants you. I'm the only one who wants you, so you're going to listen to me. And if you get out of line, I'm going to punch you. And so he does. And he is so jealous of Michael because see, we had another sister, Laura Lynn. She's a little bit older, and Reb is got a weird thing for his sister because he did not want her to leave. He wanted her to stay forever. And so he was hoping that Michael would be able to give her a reason to stay. And so she bonds with Michael, and then Reb is really jealous of his relationship with Laura Lynn, right? Well, Reb attempts to harm Michael in all kinds of ways. He had a one of those like cherry bombs, and he told Michael to hold it in his hand. And it was getting ready to go off in his hand and blow his entire hand off, right? Because I mean he's like 5, 6 at this time. I don't know. He's little. He doesn't know these things. Thankfully, their dad saw it at that time and fixed it, and he beat Reb for this, beat him. Well, then a couple of years later, Michael is hunting out in the woods, and he's a pretty good hunter. And because of that, he's able to bring food home for the family. Well, there was a dry spell there for like a week, and he was stressing out because of the fact that he wasn't being able to provide for the family. And so, like, what is your purpose if you're not going to provide for the family? And he's like 7, 8 years old at this time, like little. And so, Reb, standing at the window, is watching Michael outside going hunting, come back, and he doesn't have anything. Michael opened the bunny coop that they have and took out one of the bunnies that are Laura Lynn's bunnies, and he killed one, and then he left the others free and just left it open. Like, how smart are you at 7, knowing that if you close the door back and all the other bunnies are there, it's going to look suspicious. But if you leave the whole thing open, it looks like they got out, right? And Reb is seeing this, and Reb is like, man, that's smart. And he's like, if I told the family, then you would get in trouble. But I'm a little bit torn. I don't want to tell the family. He's like, Laura Lynn's going to be super upset, but he's also a little bit mad at Laura Lynn because she likes Michael. Like, she's bonded with Michael, like, as a sibling. And so now Ray is a little bit forgotten, right? And he's mad about it. So, because of the fact that Laura Lynn's going to be so upset by these bunnies, he's like, all right, she can suffer. Because it's her punishment for not being, like, best friends with Michael anymore, right? Not being best friends with Reb anymore. Well, so when the family gets up and Laura Lynn comes outside and sees the bunny, it's like she is so upset. So upset. Well, then later that night, Mom has the rabbit that Michael killed for dinner. And Laura Lynn goes off on her mom, saying that it was her fault and she killed her rabbits and yada, yada, yada. And so Mom, like, beat her. And she ended up killing her. And Reb is watching from the window, and he sees Dad carry Laura Lynn out into the woods and come back empty handed. And then the next day, when all the kids get up, they told them that Laura Lynn went to go live with the grandparents in North Carolina, right? So didn't even tell them what had happened. Just said she was bad, so we sent her away. So don't be bad so you don't get sent away too. And so this is another way of how they instill fear into the family. And they beat the kids all the time. The girls get sexually abused all the time. Like, it is so bad, right? Well, Reb is like, well, I sort of like the fact that Laura Lynn got consequences, but I'm also really, really mad at my parents for killing her, for lying about it. And I blame Michael. It is Michael's fault that she died. And at this point, he quit calling mom, mama. He started calling her by her first name because he no longer loved her as a mother. Like, this was like his breaking point with her. Well, a few years later, I think Reb's like 10, 11, something like that. He ends up telling his parents that he really likes torture and when things like suffer. And so they end up taking him out on like a kill together. And they bring it home and like let him do like the killing. Well, Rev gets a bright idea to tell them that Michael knows how to skin animals, right? So Michael can skin and butcher this body they just brought in. So they lock this 7, 8-year-old down in the cellar with his dead body and they don't let him out until he's cleaned it. Can you imagine all of the trauma here? Like, oh, this is so much trauma. And like, this is when they were just little. Like, we're not even to the rest of it. Like, it's insane. But because Michael was to blame for Laura Lynn dying, and he blamed his parents for killing her, he wanted to get revenge. Like, this entire story is his revenge story. So, Reb's big plan. He ended up going back to Michael's home. This was a year before our story takes place. He goes back to the mother's home. And he tells the mother that his name is Michael. And every week he goes and he hangs out with his mom. And so he gets to know the family, or well, he gets to know her, and he gets to know the home really well. And so, like, he is scoped out. This is why he already knew that they were fine. Whereas Michael was like, we should probably scope out better. And Rep's like, nah, I got it. It's fine. Because he's been there every week for a year, right? And so Reb's big plan was to get it to a position where this woman trusted him so that he could go in and kill her easily, even though she isn't the typical mark that they use. And he knew who Alice was and made sure to introduce Michael to her and to encourage them in their little love story. That way, when Michael had to kill somebody and kill Lucy, like, she would end up dying too, because his whole plan was for Michael to kill his adoptive family out of revenge for killing Laura Lynn and not giving Reb the attention that he wanted. So he tricked Michael into killing them. And in order to get back at Michael, he had him kill his real family and tricked him into all of this. Like, this was the long game. This was a year in advance that he started this out because Michael needed to be punished because of all these things that are happening. Like, he is so jealous of Michael, and this was his plan. And he is so brutal. Like, Michael, and Alice are in the basement, right? And he tells Alice, "This is your brother. I found him for you." And he's like, "He also killed your mom, and we ate her, and we may have some leftovers for you in the fridge if you're hungry." Like, who's gonna tell somebody that they ate their mother and you could eat your mother too if you want to? Like, demented. Like, absolutely demented. And it's absolutely ridiculous that he tricked Michael into killing everyone that he's ever known. That way, Michael could be, like, fully punished for everything that he's done. Reb's the one who brought him into the family. Like, he wasn't even part of the family, but Reb brought him in. And then Reb's gonna do all of this to him. Ridiculous. But so, Michael went along with everything because of the fact that fear was built into him from day one. Like, they built fear and meeting expectations, and you do right by the family. And he battled with that up until he realized that his biological family actually wanted him and Reb was just terrible. That was the breaking point. And he needed that breaking point. Like, I think the narrative said that hate cleansed him. Like, got rid of all of his desperation to live up to what the family wanted. Like, craziness. I mean, can you imagine all of this trauma that they've been through? Like, this is insane. I mean, to be kidnapped, to be abused, to be forced into killing people and eating them and all of these things. Like, when you grow up in this kind of trauma, like, it becomes normalized. Like, we think it's crazy because it's not normal to us. But if this is all that you've known for 15 years, it's not so crazy anymore. Like, it is normal because your baseline changes. And my heart breaks for Michael. Like, it just breaks for him because you'll see throughout the narrative that he's like, how is this my family? Like, how am I here? Because this is not, I don't like this. Like, there are multiple times where he's like, I would let you get away if only I wouldn't be killed by my own family. Like, he was not okay with this. But he did it because that was his job. Like, so many things. I just love this book. And as you can see, like, nothing happens. It is all plot dynamics, not plot, family dynamics. It is all family dynamics. And as you can see, like, the plot is the reveal. Like, the entire plot is because Reb is plotting his revenge on Michael. Like, that's the whole story. But you can't know that because that's the big twist at the end. And oh, it was fantastic. I had the greatest time with this book. Greatest time ever. So I highly recommend it. It will definitely be on my top 10 for the end of the year. Like, I don't see anything kicking this out of the number one spot. I hope I'm wrong, but I probably won't be wrong. It's probably gonna be at the top. But anyways, let me know in the comments, have you read this book? What are your thoughts on this family dynamic and the craziness of it all? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.